Hello everyone and welcome to Stimulus Academy. So in this video we are going to cover the topic nitrogen cycle and biological nitrogen fixation. Before we start with the topic, please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. So with that, now let's start with the topic. So first we are going to discuss the basics that why nitrogen as an element is essential for plant. Okay, so nitrogen is required by plant in the greatest amount. So it is among the among one of the minerals which is required in greater amounts. Okay, and the absorption, like N2 is present as atmospheric nitrogen, but that is not absorbable form. Okay, so the absorbable form of nitrogen in plants is NO3, nitrates, nitrites, and to some extent ammonia. But NO3, that is nitrate, is the most absorbable form of nitrogen. Okay, now this nitrogen is required by all parts of a plant, particularly by the meristematic tissue, because they are new growing tissues, and all the metabolically active cells of the plant. Okay, now where is nitrogen present in a cell? Okay, so nitrogen forms a very important constituent of proteins, of nucleic acids, of vitamins and hormones. So nitrogen is present abundantly as n element in proteins, in nucleic acids, in vitamins and hormones. Okay, so now in case there is a deficiency of nitrogen in a plant, it will lead to chlorosis. Chlorosis means a loss of chlorophyll. Okay, so if there is a loss of chlorophyll in the leaves, it will cause yellowing of the leaves. Then the second symptom is necrosis. Necrosis is death of a tissue. So there will be necrosis in the plant, particularly the leaf tissue. Okay, and the third is inhibition of cell division, because we know that nitrogen forms an essential part of nucleic acid. So there will be inhibition of cell division in case of deficiency of nitrogen. And the fourth feature is delay in flowering. Okay, so the flowering will be delayed. Okay, so this was all about the features of deficiency of nitrogen. Now we'll start with the nitrogen cycle. Now, as the name suggests, nitrogen cycle, so it will be covering all the important steps, starting from the atmospheric nitrogen, which is present as such in the atmosphere, to its conversion into an absorbable form, absorption by the plant, and how this nitrogen is again released. So it will be a cycle, it will contain a number of steps, sequential steps, first starting with the fixation of nitrogen and ending with denitrification, that is release of the fixed nitrogen. Okay, so now let's start. Now what happens is that the plants cannot use atmospheric nitrogen as such. It is only some microbes which are able to do so. Okay, so therefore a fixation of nitrogen in the soil is important, and the nitrogen that is already fixed in the soil, it is in a fixed quantity. Okay, so the microbes which will be present in the soil and the plants, they both are present in the soil, and they'll be taking up nitrogen from there only, so they'll be competing, and therefore there is limiting nutrient for both natural and agricultural ecosystems in with respect to nitrogen. Okay, so nitrogen is limited. Now nitrogen, the molecule of nitrogen consists of two atoms which are joined by triple bonds. Okay, so the conversion of nitrogen to ammonia is known as nitrogen fixation. So from this diagram we can see that atmospheric nitrogen has to be converted into NH3, that is ammonia, and the process of conversion of this atmospheric nitrogen to NH3 is known as nitrogen fixation. Okay, now this nitrogen fixation can occur by a number of methods. The first one includes biological nitrogen fixation. As the name says, it will be using some biological agents. Then we have industrial nitrogen fixation, which includes power plants, then automobile exhaust, power generating stations. Okay, so those also convert N2 into NH3. Then the third mechanism can be electrical nitrogen fixation in the case of natural lightning. And the fourth, this is about the nitrogen fixation. Okay, so there are three mechanisms by which nitrogen can be fixed. Okay, now once this nitrogen is converted into ammonia, this ammonia will further be converted into nitrites and then into nitrates. Okay, now we know that the most absorbable form of nitrogen for plants is nitrates. So nitrates will be taken up by the plants. They will it will form nucleic acids, proteins for the plants, so it will become a part of the plant biomass. After that, when animals will eat plant, it will become a part of animal biomass, and then when these plants and animals die, it becomes a part of the decaying biomass. Okay, so this decaying biomass, this biomass will then be decayed, it will be acted upon by microbes, which will release the fixed nitrogen, resulting again in the formation of ammonia. So this process of ammonia formation from fixed nitrogen will be known as ammonification. So we can say that nitrogen fixation and ammonification are just opposite events. Okay, and after that, uh, again NH3 will be available for in the pool, and it will either be converted back into N2, or it will be converted into nitrites and nitrates in the soil. Okay, so this was the whole nitrogen cycle which I have summarized. Now, the process of decomposition of organic nitrogen, that is the biomass, which is through dead plants and animals into ammonia, is known as ammonification. As we saw in the picture, this was ammonification, that is decaying of the biomass and release of ammonia. It is known as ammonification. Okay. Now, as soon as this ammonia is formed, this ammonia is volatile in nature. Okay. So either it can be it is volatile and re-enters the atmosphere. Okay, or some of it is converted into nitrites and nitrates. Okay, so this ammonia, either it is volatile and released into the atmosphere, or it is converted into nitrites and nitrates. Okay, so here we can see that the ammonia, which was fixed from atmospheric nitrogen, that is nitrogen fixation, is converted into nitrites, and this nitrite is converted into nitrates. Okay, so this is the summarized nitrogen cycle. Okay, now this conversion of ammonia to nitrites and nitrites to nitrates does not occur on its own. It requires some microorganisms. Okay, so the conversion of ammonia to nitrite, that this process is oxidation, because hydrogen is being removed and oxygen is getting added. So this process is oxidation, and it occurs with the help of nitrosomonas and nitrococcus. Okay, now once this nitrate is formed, it has to be converted, nitrite is formed, it has to be converted into nitrate. Okay, so the nitrite is further oxidized into nitrates with the help of nitrobacter, and this process is called nitrification. So here this process will be known as nitrification. Okay, the conversion of nitrites to nitrates is known as nitrification. Okay, so these nitrifying bacteria, that is nitrobacter, they are chemoautotrophs. Now chemoautotrophs mean they'll be using chemicals so as to form organic substances. So here the chemical will be nitrite. Okay, so this nitrite, this chemoautotroph nitrobacter is using nitrite, and it is converting into nitrate, and hence it is also making organic substances for itself, and therefore it is a chemoautotroph. Okay, so now the nitrate, once the nitrate has been formed, it is the most absorbable form, and this nitrate will be absorbed by the plants. Okay, and as soon as it is absorbed by the plants from the soil through roots, it is transported into the leaves. Okay, now in the leaves, this nitrate will be reduced to ammonia. Okay, because plants cannot use nitrate as such. Although nitrate is the most absorbable form of nitrogen in case of plants, this nitrate cannot be used as such, so it has to be converted into ammonia. Okay, and this ammonia is then converted into amine group of amino acids. Okay, so this nitrate which was absorbed is converted into ammonia. This ammonia is toxic and it cannot be stored, so this ammonia is converted into amine group of amino acids, and then these amino acids can be used. Okay, so now we have noted that the nitrate which was present in the soil was absorbed by the plants, it was converted into ammonia, and from the ammonia it was fixed into amino acids. Okay, now what if some of the nitrate is present in the soil? So what happens if that nitrate is not absorbed? So if that nitrate is not absorbed, then the nitrate which is present in the soil is reduced to nitrogen. Okay, so the nitrate will be reduced to nitrogen, which will be known as denitrification. So here we noted that this nitrate which is present in the soil, and in case it is not absorbed by the plant, it will be converted into N2, atmospheric N2, and this process is known as denitrification, and it occurs in the presence of microbes. Okay, so this the microbes that facilitate this process of denitrification are Pseudomonas and Thiobacillus. Okay, so this was all about the nitrogen cycle. Okay, Now in the nitrogen cycle, you must have paid attention to a point, that was nitrogen fixation, which is the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen to NH3. Okay, so there were three processes by which it was occurring. The first one was biological, which was occurring with the help of microbes. Then we had electrical, then we had industrial. Okay, so we'll be studying the biological nitrogen fixation in detail. Okay, nitrogen fixation means conversion of N2 to NH3. Okay, in the presence of biological agents, that is microbes. Okay, so now there are only some prokaryotic species which are capable of utilizing nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen as such, or converting this nitrogen to ammonia. Okay, so the reduction of ammonia to nitrogen by the living organisms is known as biological nitrogen fixation. Okay, so this biological nitrogen fixation does not occur on its own. So what is special about these prokaryotic cells? So these prokaryotic cells contain an enzyme which is known as nitrogenase enzyme, and this enzyme is essential for the reduction of atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia. Okay, so please remember the name of this enzyme, nitrogenase. Okay, now what are these microbes? Okay, so these microbes, these prokaryotic organisms can be of two types. The first one is free living and the second is symbiotic. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the examples. Okay, so free living nitrogen fixing aerobic bacteria that that can survive in the presence of oxygen are Azotobacter and Beijernica. Okay, and a anaerobic free living microorganism is Rhodospirillum. Okay, so we have noted two organisms. The first one was free living nitrogen fixing aerobe, and the second one was free living anaerobic. Okay, so it was Azotobacter and Beijernica, and here for anaerobic free living we have Rhodospirillum. Okay, now cyanobacteria, that is blue-green algae such as Anabaena and Nostoc, are also free living nitrogen fixers. So Anabaena and Nostoc, they are also free living nitrogen fixers. That is, they are they live freely in the soil and fix nitrogen. Okay, on the other hand, symbiotic organisms will be those that will fix nitrogen in the presence of a symbiotic association. Okay, so now let's take a look at the symbiotic biological nitrogen fixation. Okay, so symbiotic means that both the organisms in this relationship are benefiting. So let's take the example of legume bacteria. Legume are cereal plants. Okay, so legume and bacteria, pulses, basically pulses are leguminous plants. Okay, so legume bacteria relationship, we'll study about this in detail. Okay, so rod shaped rhizobium is in symbiotic association with the roots of several leguminous plants like alfalfa, sweet clover, sweet pea, lentils, garden pea, broad bean, clover beans, etc. Okay, so please remember these examples. These can be asked. You have to remember the examples that have been mentioned in NCERT. So okay, so the rhizobium, which is a rod-shaped bacteria, is in symbiotic association with the roots of these leguminous plants. Okay, so in the roots also they are seen in the particular nodules in the roots. Okay, so what are nodules? Nodules are small outgrowths in the roots, and these bacteria, they are not present throughout the roots. They are present in certain outgrowths of the roots which are known as nodules. Okay, so this was about the symbiotic bacteria rhizobium, which is seen on the leguminous plants. Okay, now another symbiotic association is seen between Frankia and the roots of non-leguminous plants like Alnus. Okay, so on Alnus, which is a non-leguminous plants, Frankia is seen. Okay, so now both rhizobium and Frankia, they are free living in the soil. Okay, it is not that they are alive only in a symbiotic relationship. They are also found freely in the soil, but they fix nitrogen only when they are in symbiotic association with their respective organisms. Okay, so now these nodules which are present on the root, which are the site of symbiotic association, are pink in color. Why they pink in color? Because of the presence of a type of hemoglobin which is known as leguminous hemoglobin or leg hemoglobin. Okay, so now let's study about the root, like the nodule, that are small outgrowths on the root. What are the structure of these nodules and how are these formed? Okay, so now these nodules are formed by a sequence of multiple interactions between the rhizobium and the roots of the host plant. Okay, so the host plant can be any leguminous plants like alfalfa, sweet clover, etc. Okay, so now we'll study the steps with this diagram. Okay, so first what happens is that rhizobia multiply near the roots and colonize the surrounding of the roots and get attached to the epidermal and the root hair cells. So here we have soil particles and bacteria. So bacteria are multiplying around the root hair and the epidermal cells of the root. Okay, so after this what happens is that in response to this continuous division growth of bacterial cells in the soil, the root hair cells curl and bacteria invade the root hair. Okay, so here we can see that the root hair cells are curving and bacteria, they will invade this root hair. Okay, so this hook is formed because of curling of the root hair. Okay, now these bacteria will enter inside the root hair and an infection thread is produced carrying the bacteria into the cortex of the root and nodule formation in the cortex of the root. Okay, so now these bacteria will enter inside the root hair and it will appear as if an infection thread is entering until the cortex. Okay, so these bacteria will reach the cortex of the plant and there they will form nodules. Okay, so here the bacteria is entering like an infection thread containing until the cortex and the inner cortex and pericycle cells under division. Okay, so these bacteria will lodge themselves into these cortex and pericycle cells. Bacteria release from the thread into the cells, which leads to differentiation of specialized nitrogen fixing cells. Okay, so once these bacteria have entered inside the cortex, this will lead to division of the cortical cells. Okay, and now these cortical cells, they are specialized, they are not normal cortical cells, they are specialized for nitrogen fixation. Okay, so now once these specialized nitrogen fixing cells are formed, we can say that a nodule is formed containing the specialized cells and the bacteria. Okay, now this nodule will establish a direct vascular contact with the host for exchange of nutrients. Okay, now these are living cells, so of course they need a continuous vascular supply. Okay, so the nodule will form a vascular supply so as to get all the important nutrients. Okay, now what is special about these nodules is that they are specialized for nitrogen fixing. So what is what is different about them is that they have an enzyme which is known as nitrogenase enzyme, which was essential for nitrogen fixation, and also they have leg hemoglobin, which was known as leguminous hemoglobin, and which gives these nodules pink color. Okay, so this nitrogenase enzyme, it is a molybdenum iron protein. Okay, MOFE protein, and it catalyzes the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. Okay, and ammonia is the first stable product of nitrogen fixation. This question can be asked that what is the first stable product of nitrogen fixation? It is ammonia. Okay, so now this is the equation of biological nitrogen fixation. Here we can see that N2 is fixed into 2 molecules of NH3, and here please note that 16 ATP are used. Okay, so energy is also used and H plus are being added. This means that it is a reducing process. Okay, so N2, which is atmospheric nitrogen, is getting reduced so as to form NH3. Okay, so we have covered this part, and here a mature nodule, a pink colored nodule with leg hemoglobin and nitrogenase enzyme will be seen. Okay, now the enzyme nitrogenase is a special feature of this enzyme is that it is highly sensitive to molecular oxygen. So if it is highly sensitive to molecular oxygen, we have to protect it, otherwise no nitrogen can be fixed. So anaerobic conditions must be maintained in the cortical cells, in these nodular cells. Okay, so these nodular cells have adaptations to ensure that anaerobic conditions are present. Okay, so this is with the help of a oxygen scavenger which is known as leg hemoglobin. Okay, so inside these nodular cells we have a compound which is known as leg hemoglobin, and it is an oxygen scavenger. So wherever it will sense oxygen, it acts as a scavenger, and therefore it ensures that anaerobic conditions are maintained. Okay, so these microbes live as aerobes under free living conditions. Okay, so these microbes like rhizobium and Frankial annuals plant, they are normally free living. Okay, free living and aerobic, but when they are fixing nitrogen in the presence of symbiotic association, they become anaerobic because the inside the nodules we have anaerobic conditions so as to protect the nitrogenase enzyme. Okay, so also we have seen that this reactions require 16 ATP molecules. So 16 ATP molecules are required for the formation of 2 NH3. Means per ammonia molecule we need 8 ATP. Okay, so this reaction requires very high input of energy, that is 8 ATP for each NH3 for the respiration of the host cells. Okay, so per NH3 molecule 8 ATP are required. Okay, so here we can see that this is the enzyme nitrogenase which is binding to N2, and the two molecules of nitrogen gas are being bind, and the reduction is occurring which is resulting in the formation of NH product which is ammonia. Okay, So this was the step of biological nitrogen fixation. Now we have obtained NH3. Okay, तो हमारा पूरा biological nitrogen fixation which occurs in the presence of microbes, we have completed that step. Okay, now once ammonia is formed, what will happen to that ammonia? Okay, now I told you that ammonia is toxic for the plant, so it cannot be stored as such. Okay, so now at physiological pH, normally when ammonia is formed, this ammonia will convert into NH4. Okay, so inside the body NH3 is never found, we will get NH4. Okay, so protonated, this ammonia is protonated to form NH4. ठीक है, proton is added so as to form NH4. Okay, अब NH4 हो गया. So now what will happen to this NH4? Most of the plants can assimilate nitrate as well as ammonium ions. Okay, so it is seen that normally plants can either use nitrate or ammonium ions. Okay, but the ammonium ions are quite toxic. Okay, so the plants cannot store ammonium ions. Okay, so they have to be converted into amino acids. Okay, so now हमारे पास में biological nitrogen fixation हो गया and we have ammonia. This ammonia is converted into ammonium ion by protonation. Now once it is converted into ammonium ion, either the plant can directly use this ammonium ion, but this ion is quite toxic. So what the plant will do is it will convert this ammonium ion into amino acids which it can store and further use. Okay, so how does a plant convert this ammonium ion into amino acids? Okay, so there are basically two ways. The first is known as reductive amination. Reductive amination, as the name says, यहाँ पे रिडक्शन होगा एंड एमिनेशन दैट इज एडिशन ऑफ अमोनिया. ओके, सो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, स्टेप के अंदर वी विल एड अमोनिया, thus resulting in the reduction. Okay, so here we have alpha ketoglutarate acid which is normally present in the plant. Plant के अंदर ही present होगा. इसके अंदर हमने जो हमारे पास में बायोलॉजिकल नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन से अमोनियम आयंस आए, वी आर एडिंग दैट इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ NADP. सो एनर्जी इज रिक्वायर्ड हेयर ऑल्सो. ओके, इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ विच एंजाइम, ग्लूटामेट डिहाइड्रोजनेज. ओके, सो वंस दिस इज डन, हमारे पास में क्या हो जाएगा, ग्लूटामेट विच इज अ अमीनो एसिड, H2O and NADP. So in the presence of NADP, in the presence of energy, alpha ketoglutarate acid is converted into glutamate. Okay, so यहाँ पे हमारे पास में first process हो गया which is reductive amination. So we obtained the amino acid glutamate with the help of this reductive amination process. Okay, the other step is transamination. Transamination, the word is trans. So we are transferring something. So we are transferring a amino group. Okay, so the transfer of amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of a keto acid. ठीक है, तो हमारे पास एक अमीनो एसिड है जिसके अंदर हमारे पास ऑलरेडी अमीनो ग्रुप है. ओके, सो व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर ट्रांसफरिंग द अमीनो ग्रुप ऑफ दिस अमीनो एसिड टू अ कीटो एसिड. ओके, सो कीटो एसिड की भी किस पार्ट पे, कीटो एसिड का जो कीटो ग्रुप है उसके ऊपर. सो वी आर ट्रांसफरिंग amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of a keto acid. Okay, so this will become more clear with the help of this reaction. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, we have a amino donor which is an amino acid. Okay, so this is a amino acid which is a amino donor. हमने क्या करा, ये जो NH3 है ये हमने this amino group of amino acid, we are transferring this amino group of amino acid to this keto group of keto acid. This is a keto acid, so we are transferring NH3 plus group from amino acid to this keto acid. Okay, so this process will be known as transamination. Okay, now glutamic acid जो कि क्या था, मेन अमीनो एसिड फ्रॉम विच ट्रांसफर ऑफ NH2 टेक्स प्लेस. ओके, तो हमारे पास क्या आता है, यहाँ पे जो अल्फा कीटोग्लूटारिक एसिड है वो मेन दैट इज अ मेन कंपाउंड जिसके ऊपर रिडक्टिव एमिनेशन होता है और हमारे पास ग्लूटामेट होता है. ओके, तो हमारे पास ग्लूटामेट एक अमीनो एसिड बन गया. अब अगर हम इससे और अमीनो एसिड बनाने हैं तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम इधर से इसका अमीनो ग्रुप ट्रांसफर करेंगे. तो हम इधर जो ग्लूटामेट है उसका ट्रांस एमिनेशन करेंगे एंड वील फॉर्म अदर अमीनो एसिड्स. ओके, सो हेयर ग्लूटामिक एसिड का ट्रांस एमिनेशन होगा इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ विच एंजाइम, ट्रांसअमीनेस. So transaminase requires the presence, transamination requires the presence of which enzyme? Enzyme transaminase. Okay, so this enzyme is transferred, and because of this process, other types of amino acids can also be formed like asparagine and glutamine. Okay, so these are structural part of proteins. These are important amino acids which form proteins, and these are produced by formed from two amino acids, that is aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Okay, so now the hydroxyl part of the acid is replaced by another NH2 radical. So the hydroxyl part of this अमीनो एस्पार्टिक एसिड एंड ग्लूटामिक एसिड, इनका जो हाइड्रोक्सिल पार्ट है इट इज रिप्लेस्ड बाय NH2 रिजल्टिंग इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एस्पैरागिन एंड ग्लूटामिन विच आर इंपॉर्टेंट अमीनो एसिड्स फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ स्ट्रक्चरल प्रोटीन्स. ओके, now what is special about these amides? अ स्पेशल थिंग अबाउट दिस अमाइड्स इज कि हमने यहाँ पे क्या करा है, हमने यहाँ पे NH2 ऐड करा है. दैट मीन्स वी हैव इंक्रीज द नाइट्रोजन कंटेंट हेयर. ओके, तो हम क्या बोल सकते हैं दैट अमाइड्स हैव more nitrogen than other amino acids. Okay, so asparagine and glutamine, which are amides, they contain higher amount of nitrogen as compared to amino acids. Okay, and now these amino acids can be easily transferred from one part of the plant to other with the help of what? With the help of xylem vessels. So please note this, that the transfer of amino acids here takes place with the help of xylem vessels. Okay, now a special point to be noted here is that soybean, इन सोयाबीन व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि बाकी प्लांट्स के अंदर तो अमीनो एसिड्स ट्रांसफर हो रहे हैं थ्रू द जाइलम फ्रॉम वन पार्ट ऑफ द प्लांट टू द अदर. यहाँ पे सोयाबीन के अंदर फिक्स्ड नाइट्रोजन is in the form of urates. Okay, so these urates which have high nitrogen to carbon ratio are being transported. So soybean के अंदर a special case is that in this urates are formed which contain high nitrogen to carbon ratio, and these urates are the transport form of nitrogen. Okay, so this was all about nitrogen fixation and biological nitrogen fixation. I hope that you understood the nitrogen cycle well, and in case you have any doubts you can mention them down below. So that was all about the topic, and thank you.